For millions of viewers around the world, Elizabeth Montgomery will forever be Samantha Stevens, the witch who could solve any problem with nothing more than a twitch of her nose. She always appeared with a gentle smile, effortless charm, and a sense of calm that led many to believe her life off-screen was just as happy as the character she portrayed. But that was only a small part of the story. 30 years after Elizabeth Montgomery's passing, her family, and especially her children, helped the public understand the woman behind the famous star. She was not a powerful witch, but a woman who spent almost her entire life searching for love, acceptance, and the sense of peace she never truly found. That was the real Elizabeth Montgomery, whom very few people ever had the chance to know. Elizabeth Montgomery was born in 1933 in Los Angeles, into a family where the film industry was almost a way of life. Her father was Robert Montgomery, one of Hollywood's biggest leading men of the era, while her mother, Elizabeth Allen, was also a well-known stage actress. Many people assumed Elizabeth had the perfect start in life because of her family background, but she later admitted that things were far from as easy as they appeared. Robert Montgomery was a strict father who had very high expectations of his daughter. He never truly wanted Elizabeth to enter the entertainment industry because he understood Hollywood's darker side all too well. While Elizabeth became increasingly passionate about acting, her father hoped she would choose a more stable life, far removed from the spotlight. That difference gradually created a growing distance between father and daughter. They frequently disagreed, not only about her career, but also about politics and their views on life. Elizabeth held progressive beliefs and actively supported social causes, whereas her father maintained many conservative views. Their debates became increasingly tense and continued for many years. Elizabeth also carried a deeply personal emotional wound following her parents' divorce. She never truly recovered from the shock and was said to have felt that her relationship with her father changed after he remarried. Although she always respected Robert Montgomery as her father, the distance between them was never fully healed. Many biographers believe that those emotional shortcomings within her family profoundly shaped the way Elizabeth sought love as an adult. She longed to be loved and accepted, yet repeatedly found herself drawn into deeply turbulent relationships. The irony was that the harder Elizabeth tried to build a happy life of her own, the more she seemed to repeat the same patterns she had witnessed within her own family. As she entered adulthood, Elizabeth Montgomery quickly proved that she was far more than simply Robert Montgomery's daughter. With her own talent and charisma, she gradually established herself through numerous television roles before becoming one of Hollywood's most recognizable stars. Yet, just as her career flourished, her personal life was marked by considerable ups and downs. Her first marriage to businessman Frederick Kamen lasted only a few years before quietly coming to an end. Many later believed that they were simply too different. While Frederick wanted a stable family life, Elizabeth was eager to pursue her career and discover her own path. Not long afterwards, she married actor Gig Young. From the very beginning, many people had concerns about the relationship. Young was considerably older than Elizabeth and was already struggling with alcoholism. Their marriage quickly descended into crisis due to constant conflict and lasted less than 4 years. It was not until her third marriage, to director William Asher, that Elizabeth experienced the happiest and most stable period of her life. Together they built a family with 3 children, Bill, Robert, and Rebecca, and also created one of the most successful television series in American history, Bewitched. William Asher played a pivotal role in turning Samantha Stevens into an enduring icon of popular culture. For many years, Elizabeth was not only the brightest star of the series, but also a devoted mother striving to balance her career with family life. But, as with so many Hollywood stories, success could not preserve a marriage forever. After nearly a decade together, the pressures of work, growing emotional distance, and changes in both of their lives gradually brought the relationship to an end. By the time Bewitched concluded in 1972, Elizabeth and William Asher's marriage had officially come to an end as well. To the public, it was simply another Hollywood divorce. But for Elizabeth Montgomery, it marked the beginning of a completely different chapter in her life. not merely as a celebrated actress, but as a woman determined to use her fame to make a meaningful difference in society. Following the tremendous success of Bewitched, Elizabeth Montgomery could easily have continued capitalizing on Samantha's popularity to maintain her status as a television star. Instead, she chose a far more challenging path. Elizabeth deliberately turned down repetitive roles and sought projects with more complex and challenging subject matter. She wanted audiences to recognize her as a serious actress rather than simply America's famous witch. Alongside her acting career, Elizabeth devoted increasing amounts of time to social causes. She spoke out in support of women's rights, opposed war, and was one of the few Hollywood performers of her era to publicly support the LGBTQ+ community. In particular, at a time during the 1980s, when AIDS was still surrounded by widespread stigma and misunderstanding, Elizabeth used her public profile to encourage compassion for those living with the disease and to promote research into finding better treatments. At a time when many celebrities hesitated to speak out for fear of damaging their public image, she chose to stand alongside those who were most vulnerable. Elizabeth also volunteered her time by recording audiobooks for people with visual impairments through the organization Learning Ally. She believed her voice could bring both knowledge and enjoyment to people who could not read printed books themselves. It was work that attracted very little media attention, yet it was something she quietly devoted herself to for many years. Those who worked alongside Elizabeth often shared the same impression. She never liked talking about the charitable work she did. She believed that if you had chosen to help someone, there was no need to turn it into a story simply to receive praise. For many years, audiences only knew Elizabeth Montgomery through the image of Samantha Stevens, graceful, intelligent, and always smiling on screen. But those who lived and worked alongside her remembered a very different Elizabeth, one who was far more down-to-earth than her fame might have suggested. Elizabeth's children have shared on many occasions that their mother rarely brought work home. She did everything she could to give Bill, Robert, and Rebecca the most ordinary childhood possible, shielding them from the pressures of Hollywood. Within their home, Elizabeth was a mother first, not a television star. Whenever she had the time, she enjoyed preparing meals herself, reading books, caring for her pets, and spending quiet evenings with her family, rather than attending glamorous Hollywood parties. That is why, despite years of fame, the public rarely saw Elizabeth at high-profile events, unless it was truly necessary. Her colleagues from Bewitched have also recalled many small but unforgettable moments. Elizabeth greeted everyone, from the makeup artists and lighting technicians to the production assistants. She remembered the names of many crew members and often thanked them at the end of each working day, something not every star managed to do, even when the series was at the height of its success. Perhaps it was that genuine kindness that made Elizabeth so deeply admired for decades. She never behaved like a celebrity who considered herself above others. To her, every single person on set played a part in creating a successful production. After Elizabeth passed away, her children rarely appeared in newspapers or gave lengthy interviews about their mother. But whenever they did speak of her, they always returned to the same truth. Elizabeth Montgomery was a kind, witty woman who cared more about other people than about herself. Perhaps that is the true story that time has gradually revealed over the past 3 decades. Not the rumors surrounding her private life, nor the glamour of a television legend, but the fact that behind one of America's most celebrated stars was a humble, compassionate woman who always tried to treat everyone she met with kindness. In the early 1990s, Elizabeth Montgomery continued working tirelessly, even though her health was no longer what it had once been. While filming a television project, she began experiencing symptoms such as fatigue, abdominal pain, and weight loss. At first, Elizabeth believed they were simply signs of exhaustion after years of constant work and paid them little attention. When she finally decided to seek medical advice, doctors diagnosed her with colon cancer. Tragically, the disease had already reached an advanced stage and had spread to her liver, making treatment extremely difficult. After careful consideration, Elizabeth chose to leave the hospital and return to her home in Beverly Hills. By her side were her fourth husband, actor Robert Foxworth, and the rest of her family. Rather than spending her final days surrounded by hospital equipment, she wanted to remain in the familiar place where she felt most at peace. On the 18th of May 1995, Elizabeth Montgomery passed away peacefully in her sleep at the age of 62. Her passing left audiences around the world with a profound sense of loss. But for Elizabeth's children, what they wanted people to remember was far more than a famous television star. In the years that followed, Bill and Robert Asher rarely appeared in the media. Instead of following their mother into Hollywood, they chose to build lives of their own. The two brothers devoted themselves to the craft of hand building and restoring guitars, a profession requiring patience and precision, worlds apart from the glamour of the entertainment industry. In the rare moments when they have spoken publicly about their mother, Elizabeth's children have always described her as a simple, humorous woman who devoted her whole heart to her family. That, too, has helped correct many misconceptions the public held for years. Behind the celebrated actress was a mother who did everything she could to give her children the most normal childhood possible. 30 years have passed since Elizabeth Montgomery left this world, yet the legacy she left behind extends far beyond Bewitched and the many memorable performances that defined her career. It is also the legacy of a woman who had the courage to live according to her convictions, who used her fame to help others, and who left her children an example of compassion, independence, and courage. Thank you for joining us as we looked back on the life of Elizabeth Montgomery, a woman who brought magic to millions of viewers, yet in real life chose to live with sincerity, compassion, and a heart full of love. If today's story has given you a new perspective on Elizabeth, please leave a comment and share your thoughts. And if there is another Hollywood legend you would like us to feature next, feel free to leave their name in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss more authentic stories about the lives of Hollywood stars, stories that are sometimes even more fascinating than the films they appeared in. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in the next video.